Good morning from Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors, your source for fishing, hunting, and information for folks who enjoy the great outdoors. Now sit back, relax. It's Panhandle Outdoors.
Good morning, folks. Welcome to Panhandle Outdoors. I'm Winston Chester. Glad you're here this Friday morning. We won't get all this weather through here and all, and got a big weekend coming up. But first, let's talk about the temperature. It's going to be a high today of 60, a low of 35, but it's getting cold again, and the water temperature is staying around 59. When anytime it gets in the 50s now, it's cold. And our weather, of course, brought to us by Haney Technical Center. We're looking at the big thing about this weekend on the nature side. We have that full moon. And a lot of times it has it has an effect every month on what's going on in activity as far as outdoors, fish, and also the deer and the squirrels and all. So what are you going to see is that it's going to be, you know, a lot of times these big bucks and all will walk during a full moon night if there's no cloud and everything. And then sometimes though they'll walk at night and 12 to 20 hours later they'll get back outdoors some. So middle of the afternoon. Dinner time, I've heard of a big buck being taken the other day at 12:30 and another one at 10:30 in the morning. So just be aware of that. We're going to talk about it later. Okay, river readers. Take a look at Apalachicola, Bluntstown. This is interesting here. They opened a dam on us. We had really predicted a level reading, but we predicted a 15-foot. Now this morning they are going to show where it's going to be. They're going to be opening it up. It's getting up to 18 foot. So it's going up 3 foot. And so everything we said yesterday turned out not to be true. So it's rising. Okay, it rose last night at 18. Okay, chart that's at Caryville, 10.2, and you can see it's got a little bit of movement in it now. So you know that's changed. That's why we show this from day to day. It won't change as much, but it's important because a lot of folks do things around the river. Tide chart brought to us by Kent Forest Lawn Funeral Home and Cemetery, and we're looking at the big thing is a low tide at 6:38 and a high tide at 8:40. Really good movement, and a lot of things going on as far as the wind. And what the marine forecast, what they're saying, we're looking at 25 to 35 miles an hour. That's what they're predicting, and whether the big thing, and again, it has a lot of stuff to do with outdoors. I think it's going to stay there. I couldn't help but think this morning driving in here to on how the windy condition affects the outdoors. We used to, like most of y'all know, we grew up squirrel hunting. That's how we learned how to hunt, was squirrel hunting. And the wind, my dad never would want to go on a windy day. And of course, he told us why, and over the years, it just made so much sense. And on a good still morning, those squirrels will be up in a tree, and see, the animals and all rely a lot on their observation of nature too. And on these windy days now, animals hunker down. The big bucks will hunker down, the yearlings, the squirrels, and the reason is because they can't really sense danger. And I can remember a squirrel would go up in this tree over here, and Dad couldn't find him. And what he would do, he would actually just shake a vine. He'd find some kind of vine around and shake it and get those leaves moving. And the squirrel would always jump out somewhere. And it was fascinating to me. But so on a windy day, they're not going to be out there because leaves are blowing and limbs are going back and forth. They can't sense danger, so everything's going to hunker down. So be aware of that, and just sort of you might want to get close to some bedding areas, or if you're going to be out in the woods and all, and sort of check them out, hunt with pairs of people, and if you're going to do any stalking, be a good thing, good thing to do. All right, fish and game forecast brought to us by Mark Cowart. We're looking at 10:41 to 12:41 this morning, and 11:08 to 1:08 tonight on a moonlit night. Okay, all right, takes care of the weather. Let's take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, welcome back. Say a special good morning to all you snowbirds out there. I know when this weather, you look up north, see all this weather, you're glad you're down here. Well, we're glad you're down here too, and appreciate it. There's a good group of y'all watch the show, and I guess some of y'all just shake your head. I can't believe they're actually have a show talking about this kind of stuff, but we do, and we're glad you're watching it, okay? I got several things to talk about here. I want to, let's go and do our pictures first, okay? While they hooked up, sometimes we lose them, so. First thing I want to announce is the Emerald Coast Redfish Series. It will be kicking off, and the first tournament will be here in Panama City on February the 20th, which is a little less than a month from now. So go ahead and check it out, and go ahead and enter. Like we talked about it before, had them on the show, Mark and Fred and all those guys, and Michael, and they all do a good job there. All right, let's look at some pictures now. Okay, I'm so glad I grew up doing this and not this. And folks, there's a lot of truth in that. We really need to get our kids outdoors. Nothing wrong with them playing games a little bit, but they need to also get outdoors some. Okay, next picture here. Well, let's see, all right, we got it. This is a special picture. Man, this is one of my students, and this is her first deer that she shot, and she is so excited. Look at that pretty smile. This is Athena Smith, and she shot it up on her family property up there in Youngstown. She said it dropped on the first shot, and she was just so excited. It's a young buck, and she was just glad that she had an opportunity to take it. She's been talking about it all year. She's wanting to try to get a deer before she graduates, and just a really sweet girl, an outdoor girl too, and her dad does a lot of outdoor stuff. Okay. I'm going to read this one to you. This is good. This is from Blake Sutherland. This is special here. He said, while he may not be the biggest, this is a special deer that I got tonight. My granddad was recently diagnosed with cancer, and so I set out to kill a deer with one of his old rifles. I dedicated the hunt before it started to him and said a prayer before the hunting, saying, if I got one, that is, this one's for you. Well, we did get one, and I couldn't be more thankful, okay, could be more thankful. And I got it to do it with my dad, and this one's for you, Papa. So he got to shoot it, and we got to hunt with his dad and with his granddad's rifle. Good job, Blake Sutherland. Blake's been on the show before. Okay, Corey Hastings, he got a pig, and so did his dad. Both pictures are guys hunting there with his dad. Okay, this right here, this is from Ronnie Harrison. This is Ronnie's grandson, and this is, let's see, I don't know if I get it all in here. Okay, using his 270. That is a nice buck up in Calhoun County, and let's see, this is his grandson, and the grandson is 8-point, and his name is Brennan Harrison. Okay, Brennan Harrison. Make sure we got there. Okay, very, very proud. All right, good job, Brennan. All right, now let's see, we got one more. Now you recognize this young man here. How about Ken Paramore? We're getting the second buck in 2 weeks, I believe. Good job, Ken. And if you hunted, if you've been in a tree stand, this rings a bell. When I'm deer hunting, all you see are these squirrels. And when I'm squirrel hunting, there's 1,000 deer out there. So I just laughed out loud when I saw that one. Okay, and we'll talk about this other one later. Okay, that's enough on the pictures. Now I do want to mention Ronnie Groom. Got a call from C&G. Ronnie, they'd run out of books, full box down there. So I took some more books to them yesterday. And so there are some more books down there, and also they got those little Yeti cups. You got plenty of those, and they got some nice waders. So check out the waders they have down there. So, and plus they got full box again. All right, let's take a quick break, and we'll be right back. Okay, welcome back. Quickly on the hunting dates now. Wrote them down now. The regular gun season goes out February 21st, and then right after that, muzzle loading season opens until February 28th. Duck season, of course, will go out on January 31st, and the following weekend will be youth duck hunt. That's the two big seasons people are concerned with now. Quick email. Hey, good. This is on Monday's show. Good to see. When I had Jim Wilson. Good to see Mr. Jim on the show this morning. I was the very last one to win a rod and reel on his show. I gave the rod and reel to my 10-year-old nephew. He loved it and still fishing with it. Robert Scarabin. Thank you, Robert. Good to see you at Golden Corral. And I got some more emails, but when I have these guests on, and it's good to have Jim Wilson on. He has a lot to offer. Okay, I want to go ahead and mention. I want to go and take a look at this. These are the. I had Mandy Miller on the show. Mandy Miller Warren. It's hard for me to keep a married name. Mandy Miller Warren on the show yesterday, and she's a great granddaughter of George Davis. And I just want to quickly go through some of my pages in the book and just sort of refresh. This is interesting stuff. And so here's a quick picture. This is her great-granddad, Captain George Davis, and you know the story on him. I just want to show you some of the pictures of things we were talking about. There he is right there. And then this is the Queen Mary. Now, I was fascinated at this old picture. It's fun finding these old pictures, all kind of various places they came from, and some of these first time ever been published. But the Queen Mary here, see how low it's at? They had no rules on how many people they could put on the boat, so they just loaded them up. It was called a head boat because they put them on there, but that's when they were in a downtown marina. This is before they moved out to St. Andrew and all. And this is one of my favorite pictures right here. This shows the three boys. Joe, Ed, Duck, and Grover, and it shows them when they're actually really getting some things done as far as a lot of things going on. I want to show you this picture here because I'm going to show you two pictures here. On the guy sitting in the bow of the boat without a t-shirt, that young boy there, that's Mandy's dad. That's Mike Miller. And right behind him with the Elvis Presley sideburns, that's the late Captain Richard Hawley, one of my very, very dear friends, and what a good man he was. But they started on that. And on the back side of that page, I'm going to flip it over. Right there is running the kitchen, what they call a galley there on the Davis boat. That's Mike Miller's mother, she's Captain George. She was Captain George's daughter, and that's also Mandy's grandmother. So you can see all the family connections there. And one of the second boat they built was the Queen of Queens, and that was fascinating there. I tried to find the order of boats they built. The Queen of Queens was a good boat too. It was 65 foot. Okay, here's the order. I wrote down the order of boats they did. His first one, right after World War II, actually it's on July the 16th, 1946. They launched it there, and they behind the paper mill, after it built, it took it down behind the paper mill to Martin Lake, and before the dam was built, took it down there, brought it over to Tarpon Dock Seafood, and that's where they ran the trips out of at first, the Tarpon Dock Seafood. And then they had the Dixie Queen was first, then the Queen Mary, then came the Queen of Queens, and then in the 50s, they were rolling in the 50s. 1953 was a new Dixie Queen, new and improved, new Dixie Queen, and that was built. Now, these were starting to be built by Neil Kovacevic. The Kovacevic family were Greek shipbuilders from way back in the day. They had generations of shipbuilding experience, came up here and built a lot of ships along the Gulf Coast. They built in Biloxi, and then came the Ocean Queen, and in 1960 the Star Queen. 1965 the Florida Queen was 1967. The Hall Queen fleet still has a Florida Queen. 69 was the Gemini Queen. So what a fascinating piece of our heritage and history that is the Queen Fleet. And that's all you had to say, the Queen Fleet. And everybody knew what it was, and so, you know, it ran from the 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, and 80s and 90s. It ran strong. And Mr. Hall from Dothan bought out some of the boats and all. But Bobo still runs the Florida Queen, and I love going on that boat. Just not because I know I'm gonna catch a lot of fish, but just being on that boat and there's memories and all of that. And before we know it, now the season will be kicking off. So I just wanted to touch base with you and make sure you understood when I had Mandy on here, and you know what a wonderful job Mandy does when she comes on. That's the connection there with the history and all. All right, now let's move on. I've got this video coming up last past Saturday down. I was checking out Howard's Creek, checking out St. Joe Bay, and just checking out a lot of stuff. The water, we didn't get to go. I was going ditch fishing, but the Saws Creek Road, where we were planning to go, and had a big old barrier across it, so we didn't get to go down to the ditches I wanted to fish. So we just did more riding than fishing. But it was just had a great day. Had a little picnic with us and rode to different places. And I tried to get stuck, but Gail wouldn't let me go out in the deeper water. So anyway, we did go by Pressed Nails, and there's a lot of stuff going on down there that you may not be aware of. And I know a lot of you viewers, you folks up in Funac Springs, over in Mariana and Bonifay, a lot of y'all in scallop season go down to Pressed Nails or launch your boat there. A lot of y'all go camping there for like a week or two at a time. Well, it's going to be different. They are actually remodeling the campground, and the boat ramp is going to be still in the same place, but they're going to have a campground across the road too. They're going to have a swimming pool there. It's going to be really updated and be really fancy and really improved. So what I told Gail, I said, let's pull out a camera and just shoot some video and show the folks what we're talking about. So got about a 2-minute and 45-second video on what's coming, and it's progression. You know, it don't take a lot of construction to redo a campground, but they're going to do this more paving and that kind of stuff. So watch this video, anticipate, and tell your friends too if they plan on going scallop and all. I don't know if the boat ramp's going to be open for the public like it used to, or if it's just the campers or what, because the parking is going to look a little bit different. You know, in the years past, we just put up on the grass somewhere. So let's watch this video, then we'll come back and do our drawing and have our famous Friday fishing forecast. Okay, I know a lot of you viewers come down in the summertime and go scalloping, and one of the hangouts is Pressed Nails Marina. Well, I was passing by the other day and I saw this sign. They're redoing the whole area for the campground. A lot of y'all from Funiac, Mariana, come down here and camp and scallop. But now they're making a big campground. It's going to be really nice. We're going to just run through it and just let you take a look at it. Now they're going to have two parts to it. The original place, you know, across the road right there in the bay, but right across the road, they're going to have an additional area for camping, it looks like. I'm just going by the poster there that's drawn up. This is like another campground area back in here, these big trees, and way back in here. This looks like it's really going to be nice. Now folks, this is not primitive camping. This is going to be really nice. Let's go from left to right looking at it. This is a sign out by the road. And of course this is, we're standing here by the highway right here. You're going to come in at the same boat ramp, obviously. And this is the old campground, so that's not going to be a whole lot different. But it's going to stop the scallopers, I think, from coming in parking, because all these will be campsites here. Then way down here, you're going to have campsites. And then check this out. A clubhouse with a pool, pretty close to where we're standing, and then all kind of parking here. There's a circle drive. And what's interesting, going across the highway and come in here, you got campsites all by the road, it looks like, or maybe rental units. Now here's a laundry here. All right, then come in, look, on this phase 2 now, there's a pool and a clubhouse. Go way back, this is pretty in here. Go way back in here in the woods, and they're gonna have 41 campsites on the backside way back here. So that's future development. And even up here, notice where this canal is, by Danny Raphael is right here, but they might buy Danny out. It says future development. I don't know if Danny knows about that or not. I'm gonna go talk to him about it. All right, but this really looks nice. All right, welcome back. Hope you enjoyed that, and that's going to be a lot of y'all will be going down there this summer. So just give you a heads up on what's going on. So we got to quickly move along. We got to add some names before we do the drawing. Jeff Watson, Trey Watson, okay, Charles Watson. I think we had a Watson family here. Sarah Taylor up in Parker. Houston Taylor. Houston's a fine fisherman over there in Parker. John Taylor, Parker. I know we're working. Sam Taylor. Got a Taylor family. Okay, then we got Doug Davis from Chipley. Glad to have y'all on. And Julia Davis from Chipley. And then one more stack, a couple more right here. Betty McAreath, Panama City Beach. Mike Bush, Weewall. Got a nice email from those folks. Betty McAreath right there. Donnie Copper, Panama City Beach. And Laura Bush from Weewall. All right, I think that's all of them. That was blank there. So I'll start up really quick and get the winners out of here. The winner for $20 is going to be Steve Cosmos. Steve Cosmos, and then the red snapper is going to be, okay, make sure it's hard to get one in here. Okay, it's going to be William Barker from the Funiac Springs on the red snapper. So those are two winners right there. So now let's quickly get to our fishing report. On freshwater, I talked to some Deer Point Lake report. I don't usually have that first, but I talked to some guys yesterday afternoon. Deer Point Lake has been drawn down. The fishing's good. The creeks that feed into a Bear Creek, Cedar Creek are just crystal clear, they're saying, even with the rain we had. So and the bass have moved up into the creek. So we have that one right there. It's just clear. Mexico Beach, we have flounder, a really good flounder bite this past week at Mexico Beach. Under the bridge, like I said, last Saturday I came back by through St. Joe, went under Highland View Bridge, and it was cold last Saturday, and they were really catching some. A bunch of people there. I think I counted 11 different fishermen, and they were catching some flounder, okay? Mexico Beach also Mitch Coleman said they're catching triggerfish and sheephead and flounder. The Pier report, some bluefish, also locally some pompano were caught this week, early part of the week. You can't make a living off pompano. Those are the ones that are just that resident group that we keep around in the wintertime. But there were some, I wouldn't go out on a trip just to target pompano on a regular basis, but I saw some of the captains that caught some, and they do that for a living. Choctawhatchee Bay is still muddy. I haven't got a lot of reports there, but it is still muddy. All the river systems, we still got, I was looking at the river the other day, and it's all muddy. Here at the pass, you can make a living off the bull reds. We'll talk about that almost every forecast, the bull reds. St. Joe Bay, again, the big trout are still being caught. I talked to the folks at Blue Water. They're still catching some nice big trout in St. Joe Bay. But if you're going to redfish here, dock fishing is still good. I call it right here. Outside the pass, if you're coming into the pass and all, you heard Jim Wilson talking about wintertime fishing with the redfish just drifting along when the tide is moving in. That's an excellent method of catching them, and also it starts going out. And we talk about that a lot on here because the reason we do, because a lot of people can do it, and you don't have to be a expert fisherman to do it. So you just get out there and just and be amongst them. Quickly, like I said, Crooked Island Sound, duck hunters have pretty well slowed things down in Crooked Island Sound. Not a lot going on there. I just mentioned Mexico Beach and, of course, the Highland View Bridge. You can get in and out of the weather there. That's just a really good place to fish up underneath that bridge. You can fish either side, okay? You can come in on the St. Joe side or come in on the Highland View side. Really good fishing. The canal itself has produced some speckled trout. And trolling, wintertime trolling for speckled trout in the canal. And move on down to the T. There's a good hole moving all the way down here. The intercoastal now is producing some good catches too. Right there, that's the T of the canal. Some good fishing there, okay? All right, so we're going to wrap it up. Had a good week here. I've got a really good week planned for next week, some special guests coming in. So do something good for your fellow man today. Have a great weekend. When you go outdoors now, it's going to be windy, so hunker down yourself. Have a great day, and God bless.
Thanks for joining us for Panhandle Outdoors with Winston Chester. Panhandle Outdoors features hunting, fishing, and other activities and information to help you enjoy the great outdoors. Join us next time for Panhandle Outdoors.